Welcome to my view of the stock market. Today is Wednesday, June 24th. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which slipped another 110 points or 0.43%. And it's the third day in a row this week that it's sold off. And you see it close below the 50 yesterday and increase that margin below the 50 today. And it closed at 25,476, which is almost 1% below the 50 now. So it's got some work to do to rally back through that area, but certainly you have to respect the selling. This week has been a pretty rough week here. Look at more than 1,000 points down, about 4% down on the Nasdaq this week as we end the quarter. A lot of profit taken. The month of June has been rough. Yeah, down 1,500 points or 5.5% for the month. Maybe we can get a little bit of a rally and some short covering or something. Geez, shorts have had a good month, and it's been pretty rough. We had a great April, a great May, but June is just as soon as we turn the calendar here, we had this real whack job here. I got whacked here pretty hard on the trip down to the 50, but then it rallied up, so all things are good, right? No, another five out of the last 6 days just been brutal, and it's been a tough month, the month of June, but maybe it'll make way for a good July as we end this quarter. You got to expect institutional investors to take profits after 31% rally in April and May. So as they close the books on June, maybe we get we turn the page in July and we get a little better market here as it's been really, really, really rough. And the stocks that move the needle here, Microsoft just looks horrific. Meta platform, same thing, just in a downtrend. Amazon not doing much better. And of course, the news for the day, yeah, it got supported to 200. The news for today is Google is going into the Dow Jones Industrial Average, replacing Verizon. Not a reason to buy a stock, not a reason to sell it. Actually, the stocks that have come out have done better than the ones that have come in recently. Anyway, I'm going to move on to what's we're seeing a rotation into the drug stocks. You just take a look at the XBI. Yeah, this thing is broken out, and you can't confuse, rotation with leadership. This is not to establish leadership, but it could join the groups and the ranks of the leaders. Of course, the largest stock in this group, Lilly, and a 1 trillion, pulled back to its 21 found support. That one looks good. Amgen is another one in this group that got kicked out of the Dow, and now it looks pretty good, right? I believe it got kicked out of the Dow. Anyway, um, this is consolidating in a base, but just a lot of smaller cap, 3, 4, 5 billion market cap stocks. Here's DFTX. Had a big move on Monday on news. Had an inside day on Tuesday. Today rallied another 16.5%. So, these are not large enough to move the needle. Like I said, this is a 5 billion market cap stock, but these are doing really well. It had this fake breakout, pulled back, undercut the 50, and then has rallied recently. Twist Biosciences looks pretty good. NBIX, this is one that I put on my ready list for the week. I was a little hesitant this week to put on anything. This one was up almost 3% today and having a decent week, up 5%. You could see it had this 3 weeks tight pattern and then a couple of weeks of selling off, and now this week starting to rally. So Neocrene Biosciences looks pretty good. ALKS, this one is just relentless, making new highs, surfing the five like Kelly Slater, strong stock. ESTA, this is the plastic surgery stock. Yeah, this thing just keeps making new highs. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It just keeps making new highs. I'm just a messenger here. Liquidia, this is one that I want to buy. This thing is undervalued here, I think, with this sales growth, earnings growth. It's going to grow into this. It's got 6.5 billion market cap, and it's a buyout target. I want to take a look at some of the outer dates here. Yeah, 27 Yeah, probably about $6 in earnings. So, even a PE of 10, I don't know, 20 maybe, I don't know, 120 bucks, 120 bucks. I think this thing's going to 100. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. This is Scholar Rock. They had this, base on base on base, cup with handle, undercut the 50, rallied, now making new highs. Is it time to go? I don't know, but it did make a new high today. TGTX. This is one that I like a lot. You pull back to its 5 today. I think it's going to 60 is his next stop. PTGX, another one, just making new highs. Just yeah, super strong name. That's and then what was it? Oh, EWTX, Edgewise, another one. Yeah, a base on base, and now it's starting to break out above the $40 level. So that one looks good. ROIV. Raven, yeah, making new highs as well. Man, these biotech stocks, there's no denying these things are strong. And then NVCT, I think this is the last one. Wow, look at this move. Okay, 40% move. I would say that's a nice breakout. So there is money flowing to the biotechs, but that doesn't mean they're leaders yet. Got a long way to go here. The group is top 24, the developmental, and then the other group is the revenue. These companies already, they're not doing as well. So more speculative in the biotech, got work to do, but also in the healthcare. BTSG, I know a member says he's owner of this one, and a pretty easy hold, right? I mean, you just slowly and gradually, like a snail or a sloth with a 3% 21-day ATR, just, grinding higher, just surfing those moving averages to higher prices. That looks fantastic. SNDA, these are medical services, healthcare. This is kind of a boomer trade, nursing care up making new highs though. So these ones are very strong. Garden health. I'm gonna drink some water. Garden health, medical services broke out, making new highs. That chart looks fantastic as well. So they look strong, they look good, but the group is top 25, but I wouldn't call this leadership just yet, not ahead of, your fiber optics, photonics, memory, data center plays, the construction build out of data centers, your energy plays, um, space, but these could pop in the medical care and the biotech drug. CDNA, another strong medical services stock, broke out, now making new highs here. So definitely some money flowing into this group. There's no denying it. ILMN. I've highlighted this one a few times recently. Yeah, and definitely a strong name. Broke out of that cup with handle pattern. So, yeah, biotech, healthcare, long-term medical care, all doing well. And what else is doing well? Beezer and KB. I mean, they reported, not great numbers, and still, that's all that matters is the stock's trading higher, more than 4% on that news. It reversed. MHO is another one in the group that, that looks pretty good here and a breakout here, 7% move higher. That you can't argue with it. I got to look at Meritage and a couple other ones here. Yeah, these things are looking decent now. They've um they've paid their dues, right? Look at this big old double bottom base with a cup with handle, and now finally it gets near a trigger. I'm not going to put this on the ready list because it's already too extended from its 5. Yeah, stock like this, 5.5% above its 5. I'm going to let that catch up, but you can see as it pulled back here, pop off the moving average. So definitely something to watch for, I guess. If rates come down, why not? The housing market's been in the doldrums for a long, long, long time. GRBK, this is another one that's kind of regional housing in the South. Yeah, boy, nice move there up at the trigger point. But once again, too extended, from the 5 there, 7% above the 5. So we'll let that one calm down a little bit, okay? And also in the group is Sherwin-Williams. This is a Dow component trying to get above the 200 in Home Depot. Another home-related stock, yeah, up 5%, but below the 200. Just a long struggle for these home, anything associated with the home. All right, I like retail. Why not? The Shark Ninja today made a new high. It's had this base here, kind of a double bottom base in spirit, but it didn't take out the 96. The low was 100, ran right up from the low, and you think it's gonna, pull back there or find some sellers, which it did, but it just ran sideways, and now today makes a new high at 140. So yeah, that stock is strong. Target. I told a friend that when it was about 120, I said, I think this thing's going to like 150. I don't know, it's back here, and sure enough, this thing's at 141 now. Just broke out of a base. Uh, yeah. Mm, yeah, Target. I mean, what can you say? It's a big retailer to be making new highs. It's been in the doldrums for a long, long time, though. CTRN, this is kind of more a niche market, 515 million market cap, but super strong name, making new highs today. You cannot deny new highs. Williams Sonoma, this is a home-related stock. You can see this big double bottom base here. It looks like DR Horton, but now it's broken out. And after the breakout, it pulled back to the 5, found support and moved 4% higher. Once again, I mean, it's not quite into the leadership mode, but it could be the retail home furnishing stocks. And I'm going to go over those over the weekend. All right, because they changed the groups a little bit there. And then Etsy, people buy stuff at home for Etsy for their homes and stuff, I guess. I don't know. My teachers used to be on Etsy a lot. But I'd call it a retail internet, yeah, stock making new highs today after breaking out from the cup with handle. So just acknowledging some strength there. Okay, I'm going to go back to my home, my main squeeze, the stocks that I like to trade that I think are going to lead the market higher. And, with this leadership and with this growth and all these gains comes profit taking and selling. Um, Coherent has held up pretty well. I like it above 400. It hasn't got there yet. I don't think I put it on the watch list this week, but I had it on my like group of my fishing net. When I cast my fishing net, about 100 stocks, it showed up, but I think it needs more time. VSH, Vichyssoise sold off again today, man. These stocks are having some trouble. We need a boost. I mean, below the 21 is not the end of the world, but that's showing weakness that I don't want to see. VICR to the VICR go the spoils here. Just consolidating in a base here. Real choppy action there. Pretty tough stuff to hold. Corning got above 200 today. Yeah, that I'm tempted to put this one on the red list. Double bottom base pattern there, right at 208. I like it over 200, but if it really is going to run there, it should get over 208 and actually 212. It's moving after hours, so maybe it goes on the list tomorrow. It's a little extended from its 5 though, but nice move today while the rest of the Nasdaq was puking its guts out. And then the fiber optics, man, these things were really worrying me here. Yeah, LITE, you know, we'll see what happens tomorrow. It didn't take out that low, but this thing is weak below the 50. You got to be cautious. You got to respect the selling. I showed you at the top how much the Nasdaq has sold off here in June. So you got to respect the selling. I don't know when it ends. Nobody does, but could be tomorrow. Sienna looks like it's forming a bottom here. It can't be pushed below this 417 area. If you're a short, you want to push it lower, and they just can't do it. So Sienna's holding on below the 50, and then AAOI. This is just a wild, 13 and a half, 21-day ATR. And when it goes up, it's great. When it goes down, not so much. It's had a big run. This has been a big winner in this fiber optic group this year. So, you got to expect some profit taking along the way. All right, I'm going to go to the semis. Marvell, they have a general meeting tomorrow. So does Dell. So you might hear some news tomorrow. Yeah, and I could see that bouncing off the 21 here. Not taking out the 324, but I could see it getting back to over 300 with some news. Tomorrow, AMD is another one here, one of these leaders in the semiconductor space. Just pulled back to the 21 today. Not bad. I mean, it's flat on the session while the Nasdaq has been puking. This one looks pretty strong. Intel, it just needs some time. It wants to break out. It wants to be a big winner for you. What was the news today? Nancy Pelosi had a stake or something. But anyway, 132.75. Maybe it'll pull back. Maybe it'll rip tomorrow. It's ready. I mean, it's ripe. I might put that one on tomorrow. I like it. I want to buy it myself. MaxL, I put this one on knowing full well the chips were totally weak. So what happened? I got my head handed to me. Down 4.5%. Maybe it'll bounce off that moving average here tomorrow. It's just got this, I'm a sucker for charts. It's got this high tide flag pattern where it ran up, from what, 20 to 100, a five bagger. Now it's just flagging. So maybe not today, maybe not this week, but pretty soon I think this thing's going to take out 100 once again. What else do we have here in this group? Oh, ASML, the big leader in the equipment space, pulled back to the 21 today. That's not the end of the world. That's okay. It's hanging in there. And then Applied Materials. Yeah, pulled back to the 10 today, up in pre-market. I'll get to that in a minute. Who else we have? Oh, Form Factor. Another one of these equipment stocks, just consolidating in a base. I like this pull back to the moving average. I might put that one on tomorrow. I really like that one. I think I put it on earlier in the week, and it's not the week for chips, at least not yet. UCTT and then AEHR. Yeah, just pulling back to moving average. That's not the end of the world. This one pulled back below 100, huh? It's got this 13% 21-day average true range. So this one moves in both directions, much like AAOI. Anyway, that's it for the semiconductor, except for I lied. I had this one on. I like this one. Pull back to its moving average today. Maybe it'll pop tomorrow. Take out that 171. Yeah, I like that one. I like Teradyne. Yeah, there's just been weakness here around that 422. I might put that one on tomorrow as well. Yeah, a lot of stocks, started setting up here before the Nasdaq. Right here, it made that high on April 24th and sold off with earnings. So this one's been consolidating for 6, 7 weeks, much like Intel. They started their bases before, the Nasdaq started selling off in June. So that's why, I mean, there's quite a bit of stock set up in bases that had started their corrections prior to the Nasdaq selling off in June. So I'll post those. Anyway, the data center build out, Sterling. Yeah, that thing's just forming a base, right? Quanta Services just forming a base here. Made that high May 6th. So, it's been 6, 7 weeks. Pulled back to the 50 today. Yeah, I like Quanta Services quite a bit. Jerome Powell no longer our Fed chair. We're getting used to Kevin Warsh, for better or worse. This one started its correction May 11th, way before the index started correcting. So these are things to watch. If we can stabilize and then start to rally once again, that is a possibility. This is Comfort Systems. It made its high May 14th. Today's the 24th, so you're looking at 6 weeks of consolidation. So these things are getting ready, folks. Matthew Modine, yeah. I mean, it made its high now. It's been consolidating. TT, another one, HVAC company. Yeah, nice little chart here. Train Technologies looks good. Vertiv had a massive sell-off. This thing started selling off way before the index in May 14th. Undercut the 50, rallied back up now below. But this is just forming a base here. Looks like a double bottom here. There's your first bottom, rally up, then a second bottom, now building the right side of the base. I like that one a lot. And I mentioned Dell having their annual meeting tomorrow. Could be something, could be nothing, but this one's super strong name, finding support there at its 21 here. And this one kind of reminded me of Micron going into earnings. This is a big rally, and you think, man, it's up too much. It can't do anything. And And did it rally on earnings day or what? 33% move. That was an insane day for Dell. And the reason why is this is sales and earnings growth accelerating. These are beneficiaries of a lot of CapEx spending. What else do I have? Oh gosh, you know what I missed? Oh, since I'm here, Qualcomm had an investor day today, and they gave some raised guidance for X handhelds, anything other than handhelds, because they're known for their handhelds up 11% after hours. So I had to mention that one. What else do I have here on the build out? Oh, I had NVT on data centers. I just scribbled a bunch of stuff today. I was at physical therapy and I have trouble, watching the market when I'm trying to do too many things here. But anyway, I'm going to be back out to golfing this Saturday. Can't wait. Probably only about 105. We can take it. It's actually a cheat code, golfing in the heat because the ball flies. Light air here, about 3,000 elevation. It's 105. Turns a 240-yard drive into a 280-yard drive. Anyway, I doubt if I'll be hitting it that far this weekend. TTMI, this is what I keep talking about, where at 200 you thought was going to be resistance, but it's turning out to be support. Anything above 200, if it pulls back, continues to pull back to that 10, I think that's a buy. I actually, nibbled on some of that today because I couldn't stand looking at Micron and SanDisk. Sanmina, another one that I love. Trades with AMD, just consolidating here. Yeah, I made a high June 3rd, so it's going to need some time. And then Flex, another one in the electrical contracting manufacturing group, just marking time here after the big move higher and the move into the S&P 500 index. And okay, I gotta go to SpaceX. Everybody's in love with this stock. I don't get it. Maybe it's a CEO. It did take out the IPO low. Just it needs time. It needs time to form a base, have that due diligence phase before it can move into its advanced phase. Rocket Lab, that thing formed a base and then blasted off 151, now forming another base. Wow, down 10% today. ASTS, I know this one was down as well. So the space stock's not doing as well. I don't know. Fuel's coming down, and rates are coming down. So that, the thought process is, leads to deflation, and that's maybe why the housing and biotech are doing better. But like I said, that rotation doesn't is not leadership. And I showed you a bunch of leadership stocks earlier, and I got the boomer stocks too, these leisure plays. Viking above 100 now. This thing just keeps going higher. I wanted to buy this thing and it just goes higher. So geez, I don't know why I haven't bought that. That's a really nice stock. And then you have these airline stock, which are fuel coming down, so it fueling the stock price higher. And this one's starting to fly towards 100 after breaking out of a base. Anyway, lots of stuff for me. And that's it for me. And that's all I got to say. Just a lot of stuff going on. The market's been tough. I'm just showing his strength. There's a lot of carnage too, as you saw in the fiber optics, photonics, and the semiconductors. They've been hit this month. And if those are the stocks you own, you had big gains. And like Willie Sutton has said, why do you rob banks? Well, that's where the money is. Well, why do they sell those stocks? Because that's where the profits are. And that's why your stocks are getting hit. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I do have one more thing. Before starting this video, I was on the conference call here for Micron, and the stock was up 1,200 bucks. The implied move though from the options market was about $120. So there it is there tomorrow. I wouldn't pay above that, but you want to see Micron close this gap here, the low from Monday, which it's right there, right? The low was 1,168. It's just a tick above it. So this thing's going to bounce and close this gap here tomorrow. A new high would be 1213, very possible. What the earnings was insane. Their guidance insane, and they're signing these long-term contracts, and they're not little itty bitty contracts. They're massive contracts. This company is going to have outstanding revenue for a long, long time. I think 1500 is the next stop. This is really ridiculous. If it doesn't, this has got to be readjusted here because they're raising guidance big time. So probably earn 100 this year, 200 next year. I don't know what that's worth. I mean, I would think 100 this year with a 20 PE would be 2000. Even with a 15 multiple, 1500. I think that's the next stop for this one. What's spooky about this stock, though, it's gapped up so many times and it had this island reversal here where it gapped above the Thursday high on Monday, and this, had this reversal bar on Tuesday. And so if I had a pin, I would just draw this little box here, and it's above the box. That's an island reversal to the negative side. So if you're a chartist, you'd say, wow, that's really negative. It's going lower. But also you could just say, a pullback to the 21, going to fill this gap and make new highs. And I think if you're a fundamental guy and a long-term conviction guy, you just got to hold it and, kind of grin and bear it on some of these earnings move. Earnings are risk events, man. And you got to sit through them. I reduced into this one because you got to practice risk management, but uh, I just hope it goes up to 120, which is implied, but I do think it has a very good chance of making a new high. Those numbers they produced, we just don't see that. You just don't see that in the market very often. So this is a real rare bird and trading higher after hours for good reason. I think SanDisk is going to even have a more spectacular earnings report when they report next month. What are they up? 185. So they have this gap here, and they've got a lot of work to do because they have the same island reversal, and the low is 2251. And right now, I know it can go up 300 points in a day, but it's got a long way to go. Even after a 10% move after hours, it's at what, 2100? It's got, 150 points more to go. And it could certainly do it. I would just like to see it get above the 2191 and then move to the 2251. It's got a lot of work to do, folks. So you can see 200 bucks. So it could have a $300 day in it tomorrow or, in the next couple of sessions. But yeah, SanDisk and Micron are the two to watch, I believe. Seagate, more of a storage play, not so much. Yeah, it's up 10%, just like SanDisk. And this is one I wouldn't touch. Yeah, this is just too gappy, and I'm going to stay away from that one. I talked about the abnormal move, right? The 30% move. It never done anything close to that. Last week, 32.5%. Its prior moves, were 10%. That's fine. 10, 8, 8, and they had the 3 weeks tight here. So it's trading, kind of tight, kind of normal, 7%, 7%, 11% weak, but you get the idea, 5%, then all of a sudden 32 with big volume. To me, that's just a yellow flag. I'm going to stay away from that one because once again, why own Western Digital when I can own SanDisk or when I can own Micron, which is definitely going to be the stock for tomorrow there. Yeah, 1200 is what did I say the high was Monday once again? 1213 is the number for tomorrow. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Congrats to the longs at Micron. If you hung on, if you had the guts to hold on, you're rewarded. If you sold, that's where, if you have some cushion, you just trim a little. If you don't have a cushion, then you have to practice risk management. But it's nice to have a little bit in the game in case this happens. And then you don't want to have a big position if it reverses on you and goes the other way. So, that's earnings reports. They're risk events, and the longs won this round. So congrats to the longs at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. See you in the morning.